This little two-part video series was a deck that we had. Clients of ours got in touch saying they wanted to be able to use their deck. They're in their early 90s and we want it to be safe for them. The handrail wasn't up to code, pickets were more than 4 inches apart, and the joists were completely rotten out. This was a super budgeted fix. We wanted to come in, make it right for them to where they can enjoy their deck again. So here's the process, here's how it went down. I'm gonna share with you guys a couple tips of mine for building decks. Let's get to it.
1, 2, 3.
In today's video, we're going to go over a couple things such as why deck joists will fail, the most common reasons a lot of these things are rotten out. Along with that, ways to prevent that from happening. We're out here stripping this thing down. Guys got the handrail stripped all the way around. We're going to get the rim stripped, start stripping down this decking. We have some sheets to throw up here, so we're nice and safe. And we have scaffold all the way around the outside of this place. Let's talk cantilever for just a second, because there's a 2-to-1 rule that needs to happen in order for a cantilever to work properly. A cantilever is any part of the building, such as this deck right here, that sticks out and isn't supported directly below. This right here is a 6-foot cantilever deck. There is structural steel under me, but that was only because they had a hot tub here. The deck originally didn't have anything holding it up, meaning it cantilevers out and holds itself up. There is a 2-to-1 ratio that you have to have in order for a cantilever to work properly. The deck here is 6 foot out, meaning that in order for this cantilever to work properly and hold itself up, you have to be tied back in 12 feet, making this an 18-foot joist here coming out to this deck. That is the only way you can achieve a true cantilever that's going to work well, and it's been here for many, many years. We're going to go ahead and shrink the deck back down to what it was originally, that 6 foot. They had a hot tub up here. We took it out a long time ago when we did the roof on this place. I'll show you guys some drone shots of the roof. Beautiful presidential roof. They have a Christmas tree farm. Pretty bad, but let's get this place demoed.
When you're taking apart a deck like this, you want to be as careful as possible not to damage the joist in the case you're keeping them. We cut in between each of the joists, allowing us to take off the deck boards but keep everything else intact.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I'm going to do these first so that I don't set my hand down on them.
So as I've mentioned, they had a hot tub up here before. That is the reason behind the 4x4 post and beam setup that they have here. Since the hot tub is no more, we took it out many months ago. We are going to try, we're going to see if it works first, to take these back out, since this is cantilevered, it should hold itself up, and see if we can let this thing stand on its own without this. These are pretty hideous. They don't look good at all. We're going to see if we can get rid of them, rebuild this deck, and hopefully it holds. If not, we're going to put in some new posts that look a little bit better and a beam that runs across here to hold everything up. So far though, it's holding up Fox. So I'm having to sister these up. One of these is bad, one of them is good. So I sistered on a new piece here, screwed the heck out of it to one another. 45 cut there to where it doesn't come apart as easy. If you just butt join it with a square cut, it would come apart, it would just fall right off. That 45 has screws going up and then down to lock it all in place. I want to show you guys where decks fail most often. It comes down to quality of build and who's building it for you. So on a deck like this, you have Trex decking or any composite decking. Water goes down in between the deck boards and falls right on top of your joist. Over time, this rots out, causes everything to be damaged. Here's how you fix that. I have zip flashing tape. There's another company called G-Tapes, and you tape the top of all your joists. We're gonna do the same thing on the rim along the outside and every joist and block through here. The reason we do that is because when it rains, water is gonna come down. It's gonna land on the deck boards, go down in between the deck boards, land on the joist, and now it's sitting on this membrane. This membrane isn't gonna allow it to soak into the board, and if it goes down the side, it's gonna drain off and go away. When you have joists doubled up like this, there's a gap in between the two of them right here. Water gets in, creeps down in between the two, and rots them to pieces. That's what we saw here in the center all the way through. So by putting that zip tape or the G tape, I'll have a link in the description down below, it's gonna run right off the top and everything will be good. It's an extra step. It takes a little bit of time. The tape isn't cheap. A lot of people won't do it. If you're gonna be building any deck, if we were building a custom deck, this is how we do it. On a little patch job like this where you're just coming in and fixing it up and it's not a full custom build, most people would just leave it the way it is, slap some new joist in here, deck it out, call it good. These are long-term clients of ours. We don't want to disappoint them. So we want to do everything we can to make sure this stays up as long as possible. And that little tip right there, the zip tape on top, will save this thing for years and years to come. These are all good. The middle needs to be patched in. We've got a bunch of custom work to do in there. And the last couple over there. And when I say custom in here, I don't mean it's really cool. I mean, I'm gonna have to try everything I can to keep whatever meat that I have going back into the building and make it work out here.
On the joist that only had a little bit of rot on top, we notched out and patched in. On the joist that really needed work, we replaced as far back as we could and sistered on a new joist beside it to give it more strength. We got lucky and we only had a few that needed to be fully replaced. Those ones we did sister up a new joist beside it to give it as much strength as possible. Keep in mind, our goal for this deck was to drop those posts supporting it from below and it be able to hold itself up. If we can accomplish that, we're stoked.
Couple roll diggities.
We're gonna use this as a gauge right here, and we're gonna put that outside 2x. Oh, I just stuck my hand in wet paint. We're gonna put that outside 2x10 or 2x. What is it? 2x10. We'll hold that band up flush to the top of this, so we don't see end grain on our deck boards.
Yeah.
So we have our zip tape down all the way through. Deck boards can be ran. I do want to go through and paint all these beforehand. So tomorrow morning we're going to paint all these. Deck boards will just slap in all the way through. Then we'll do handrail out and about. So we took out the post right here and right over here, and so far everything has held up great. We doubled up some of these joists, have some spots to sand down. We kind of patched in where we had to. So far it's holding. We're gonna deck it tomorrow, do the handrail tomorrow, and we'll see what it's looking like. If it starts to sag at all or it's too bouncy, we will be putting in some posts here and then over there, but I don't think it's gonna need it.